Jamaica continues to struggle with teacher shortage. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. The Jamaica Teachers Association fears that the aim of the Ministry of Education to establish a ratio of 1 teacher to 25 students per class is under threat as public schools struggle with a teacher shortage. JTA President Lasanja Harrison has noted that many schools, especially those in rural communities, are struggling to fill vacancies which have been created for various reasons, including resignations, vacation leave, and retirement. She noted earlier last week that for this 2022 to 23 academic year, schools could not offer some subjects while teachers had to deliver lessons outside of their subject areas. Mrs. Harrison said it remains to be seen whether the goal of reducing class size will be achieved. Meanwhile, a man was fatally shot at Bridgewater in Darlington, Westmoreland on Thursday. Investigators said at about 5:30 p.m., 22-year-old Lionel Blake was driving his motor car when a motorcycle drove up and the occupants opened fire at him. Mr. Blake lost control of the car and collided into a fence. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Meanwhile, the Old Harbour Police in St. Catherine are probing a suspected mob killing on Burke Road on Saturday. An unidentified man accused of being a goat thief was beaten to death by a group of people. The incident occurred about 2:20 p.m. and it's reported that police were alerted to a mob attack along Burke Road. On their arrival, the body of the unidentified man was found inside a yard. It had multiple chop wounds and the head was bashed in. A machete was found at the scene. Investigators confirmed that the man was attacked after being accused of being a goat thief, and this is the third alleged goat thief killed in 2 days. Police from the Kingston Central Division and investigators from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, are continuing their probe into the shootout on Friday morning in which 2 men were killed and a police officer injured. According to the police, sometime after 10 o'clock, a group of men traveling in a motor car shot and killed a man in the vicinity of Orange Street in downtown Kingston. Superintendent Beresford Williams, head of the Kingston Central Police Division, said the men were making their getaway when they encountered police officers. They engaged a group of policemen who returned fire, during which at least 2 of the perpetrators were shot. 1 died from the shootout. We know the other vehicle subsequently crashed and the driver of the vehicle was found appearing to be dead, said Superintendent Williams. A firearm was also recovered. A man who was wanted by the Clarendon police was on Thursday fatally shot in a reported confrontation with the police in Greenwood in St. James. He's 21-year-old Romaine Murray. Murray, also called John Tom, was wanted for 2 counts of wounding with intent, and it's reported that a team from the Area 3 Division located Murray in the Greenwood community. With support from the St. James police, the lawmen entered the area in a bid to apprehend Murray, who engaged them in a shootout. He was wounded and taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Meanwhile, a man was killed and a woman wounded during a gun attack near Richmond in Manchester on Thursday as well. The deceased is 42-year-old construction worker Alfred Ferguson, also known as 6 or Blacks, and it's reported that Mr. Ferguson and the woman were talking at a premises about 8:45 when they were shot by a man. Mr. Ferguson was pronounced dead at hospital while the woman is being treated for a wound to one of her hands. On Wednesday, officers from the Manchester Safety and Security Branch, Deputy Superintendent Colin Johnson, said 23 people have been murdered in the parish since the start of the year, compared with 22 for the corresponding period of last year. And another man was shot and killed by the police in Mandeville at 11 o'clock on Friday morning. According to reports, the man had stabbed a woman with a knife near the Mandeville market where they both were vendors. A police officer who was summoned asked the man to drop his weapon. The man refused and allegedly moved threateningly towards the officer who shot him. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. 2 men were shot, one fatally after gunmen opened fire on a group of people in a community known as Tenement in Salt Spring in Montego Hills in St. James on Saturday night. The dead man has been identified as 40-year-old Philip Parkinson, a resident of the area. A 27-year-old injured man has been admitted to hospital as well. It was reported that about 10:45 several persons were in a yard when they were approached by a number of men armed with guns. Police said the gunmen opened fire and all the people ran in different directions. It was later discovered that the now deceased and another man were suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds. The police were alerted and the injured persons assisted to the hospital where Parkinson was pronounced dead on arrival and another man treated and admitted in stable condition. While processing the crime scene, police retrieved more than 20 spent casings, and no motive has been established for this attack. Meanwhile, in sports, in Gold Cup, Jamaica swamped St. Kitts and Nevis 5-0 with goals from Julian Archibald, a St. Kitts own goal, John Russell, and substitute Deshaun Bernard, Daniel Johnson, and Corey Burke. Jamaica were 2-0 at halftime and played a lousy first half with the players trying to do too much with the ball. In the second half, however, they slowed things down and started to pass the ball around and feeding the wings, resulting in several crosses from a slick Leon Bailey who created many chances. And it was from these crosses that ended up with Jamaica scoring 3 more goals. Meanwhile, the United States clapped Trinidad and Tobago 6-0 to top Group A, leading Jamaica in goal difference. Trinidad ended with 3 points and took third, St. Kitts fourth with no points. Over in Group B, Qatar edged Mexico 1-0 last night and jumped to 4 points and took second place over Honduras, who ended with 4 points as well after beating Haiti 2-1. And this evening we will see a clash of great importance with Guatemala and Guadeloupe. Both of them are on 4 points, and that's going to be a really great game. Canada, who is in third place on 2 points, will play a weak Cuba, and if they win today, they will move to 5 points and could top the zone depending on the result from Guadeloupe and Guatemala's game. And it's going to be a very interesting game this evening to see who gets out of that zone. And if you ever missed the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's going to be news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.